Okay, just about ready. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I hope you guys are ready to join me today for a lovely art project today. We are going to be using some highlighters. Hi, you guys. You can see the little, you can see, you see the little supplies list right there. I have my handy dandy highlighters. My name is Hannah and I am from Hearts Need Art, and today we're going to be doing some flowers today. Of course, because that's one of my favorite things to do is some flowers. Um, so I'm not in the picture because I want to actually jump into this straight away. So I have all my supplies here and I'm not going to show you exactly what we're going to be doing just yet. I want to surprise you. So I have my handy dandy Sharpie here. Going to start out with a pencil. I do want to make sure that it has an eraser. And let's get going. I have a bunch of different colors to use. A lot actually, but you guys don't need a ton of colors. I want you guys to use whatever you feel more comfortable using. So I have blue, I have pink, I have orange, I have purple, and green over here. So I think we can get started. And once again, my name is Hannah. I am going to start out by drawing a flower pot right about here. I wanted to just kind of jump into it, so hope that's okay with you guys. So this is how we draw a flower pot. I am going to start with a rectangle. And my view is going to be a little bit skewed, just so you guys know. I always like to give you guys a warning about that. I am sitting off to the side over here, so it might be a little bit tipped over, but that's okay. We're going to pretend that we're on a hill. So I'm going to fix these edges a little bit just to make this part sort of dip over a bit. Anyway, let me give you guys our proper full introduction. Hearts Need Art, we are an organization that brings creative support to adults who are facing life-altering health challenges. We came from Methodist Hospital, but we're here doing live streams just for you guys today. So let's see, I have my lovely little flower pot here. Let's put some flowers into it now. Perhaps I can give it just a little bit of a horizon line, just a little bit. I'm probably going to end up erasing these a little bit later. What else? Let's start with some flowers. So I have three kinds of flowers that I'd like to show you guys how to do today. The very first one is actually going to be one that if you've been keeping up with these live streams, I've done them before. So you will be able to see them again for like the 10th time. I'm going to draw a little point here. Then I'm going to draw the petals, three lumped petals, and then a line here, another petal. Now, my petals are pretty funny looking, and I hope that that's okay with you guys. Sometimes my hand gets a little bit shaky, and I know you guys have heard that before. But this is why we have erasers, and this is why we do pencils first. So I can squeeze in another little petal here if I want to. And then I think my little flower, I want its stem to go down. But for this part especially, I'm going to be pressing down very, very lightly because I do want to be able to erase that later and fix it maybe if I need to. The next flower that I'm going to do reminds me of a dandelion. So those really pretty yellow flowers. I'm going to start with what looks like the nose of a kitty cat. I want you guys to be able to see that. Looks like a little kitty cat nose. And then I'm going to draw some lumps that come out of it like that. And then from those lumps, even more lumps. And then from those lumps, even more lumps. And I'm always going to pay attention to the roundness. Do you see how it sort of curves like that? Pay attention to that. Add more lumps on top of that. Now, notice how some of my lumps are not so lumpy, not so curvy. That's okay too. You guys do whatever your hand is inclined to do, like that. Now, sometimes these flowers sort of droop over a little bit. At least they look a little bit prettier that way. I think they do. So I'm going to draw a few extra little ones out here, like that. Now, the thing is, it's going to get a little bit crowded with all the things that I want to add to it. I might actually not do the stem for this one just yet. Maybe not until I figure out what else I'm going to do with it. Perhaps I can do another little guy right here. Another little dandelion. Notice how, once again, my lumps are not by any means perfect at all. They're actually getting bigger. Funny how that happens. Especially when I don't pay attention too much to it. They just get a little bit bigger. And again, they're going to curve down. Just a little bit. And that one looks like a heart. Let's see. Leave the stem out a little bit. Another one. This next flower is going to be just a little bit harder. So I'm going to try and break it down as best as I can. It's going to be sort of like a buttercup shape. So it's a little bit hard to see my hands like this, but kind of like that. Like it's sort of, it has a bulb in the middle and it wraps around the bulb like that. So I am going to make a circle first. Perhaps it can be a big flower. I do really like this one. So there's going to be the top of it, and because it's bowl shape, it's going to go down like that. I'm drawing the bowl, excuse me, at the bottom. Going to draw the bulb that's in the middle. It's a very basic shape. And then all of this around here, that's all going to be the petals. So like I said, please bear with me. It's a little bit of a tougher shape, but you can do it. I do highly recommend that you guys press down very lightly. I'm sort of making these lumps and these curves on top of that line that I'd already made. Drag it down like that. And again, following this curve, like that. Now, my hand, like I said, gets very shaky. So that's okay. I'm going to be able to fix that up afterwards with that permanent marker, with that Sharpie. And once again, this one's going to be, just going to make it a really big petal. And then this middle bulb here, I'm going to make that one lumpy too. I'm going to start with the top lumps, work my way down from there. Let's see. I feel like this one needs another bowl flower. Maybe this one I'll put way up here. I really love these flowers, so I think I'm going to make this one bigger. Once again, starting with that round oval shape, going down into a bowl like that, drawing the bulb in the middle. While I'm drawing that, I would just like to invite you guys to possibly play Pictionary with us, with me, on one of our live streams, perhaps maybe next week or maybe the week after that. It's just kind of a fun little game that we've been wanting to do for a while because it's Pictionary, right? It's Pictionary. All you have to do if you wanted to join me on one of these live streams, it's just to email Richard. You can see his email down there. You can win a prize. I don't know what the prize would be, but I promise you would love it. So just make a comment or email Richard, whatever you would like to do, and you can play Pictionary with me. Ta-da! What else should I do? Perhaps draw some little leaves going down. They kind of point down. Perhaps this one needs some leaves too. Kind of looks like a three-limbed heart, maybe. And I think we're now at the point where we can do some little stems. So perhaps I'll just make a placeholder line, placeholder line, placeholder line. From there, I'm still being very sketchy about it, not really paying too much attention. I can make some filler leaves. Now, these filler leaves, I love doing these because these really help to take up a lot of space. So, remember these stems were really just placeholders. I can always erase them if I want to. I can have this one perhaps go around the back there. It's kind of bending a lot, but that's okay. I can make some leaves that come out like that. Perhaps overlap or go under anything else that might be there. Again, these are placeholders. What else? Perhaps I should put some stray leaves coming out like that. Now, even though they're floating, as a whole, whenever you look back at the picture, they're going to make sense, especially with all the other leaves that we're about to put. It's going to make sense that they're there. What else? Let's do big flower drooping, or not a flower, big leaves drooping that way. Like that. What else? Perhaps some more floaty leaves out here. And while I'm doing that, I also wanted to promote my one-on-one studio sessions with you guys. If you wanted to join me for an art session, basically we can do anything you'd like. You can do that. All you have to do is go to heartsneedart.org and schedule a session with me. And I have a few students of mine. We're doing some ongoing projects. So if you have an ongoing project that you'd like to get some help with, or if you'd like to just watch me do something live while you, I don't know, eat lunch or do something, I can do that as well. I have done that before, where I just sit there and I color pencil something and people will just watch me. So that's totally fine and it's a lot of fun for me too. So anything you guys would like to do, I'm happy to do it. One-on-one sessions, go to heartsneedart.org. Cool. So I think that's a good amount of drawing. I'm actually really happy with that. I'm thinking perhaps I'll put like a big leaf, like a big floaty leaf out there, just for a little bit more filler, but I don't really think it needs a whole lot more. I feel like I can go into my handy dandy Sharpie markers now, and let's do some outlining and do some finalizing. Perhaps I can even add in a few extra things if I so wanted to, like that. Whoops. There we go. I was a little worried there it would decide that it didn't want to work, even though I tested it. There. Ta-da! let's see. So I did the outline for the little pot. Can do, I'm thinking we can start with the easiest things. We already have the flowers established. So let's go doing that. Everything else will fall into place after that. So really all I'm doing is just going over all of those lumps. And again, don't worry about being perfect with it. I'm really just retracing my steps here on more of the ones that are not quite so lumpy, not quite so round. Maybe I can fix those if I wanted to. Not required though. Let's see. I personally love the sketchy look. I don't know. I don't like things to look totally perfect when it comes to drawing. I feel like it's more interesting when it's imperfect. There we go. Now, the reason I'm not giving these stems like any more depth is because I'm going to let the color do that for me. Like I don't need to go in here and draw an extra line to make sure that it looks like a stem. I'm going to let the color and the markers do that for me. I did add these little leaves coming down from that flower. There we go. Retracing steps. And that's about it. So obviously the shaky hand has not gone away from that part. That's okay though. Because we're going to let the colors do all the magic for us anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now, for these little buttercup flowers, I'm actually going to not retrace the basic shape that I did beforehand. I'm going to retrace those other lines that I did on top of it. And because I like these flowers so much, I'm going to be trying to be a little bit more careful. Try to sing the keyword here. There we go. There was one more thing I'm supposed to talk to you guys about, but I don't remember it. Oh, yes. Very big news. We are going to have an article in the Express News coming out sometime soon, and we don't know exactly when, but be on the lookout for an article about everyone here at Hearts Need Art. You'll be able to see a little bit, see and read a little bit more about what we do as an organization, how we work with the hospital, how we work with other patients. So I'm super excited. I really am. In fact, I even have a photographer here in my little bedroom studio. He just waved hi. So we are all super excited. In case you guys didn't know, we actually have musicians who work for us as well. We have Jaime on guitar, we have Caitlin on piano, Marisa on ukulele, we have Megan who sings and plays piano. Does she play piano? No, I can't remember. But she sings amazingly. So tune in for all of those. Every single week, we always have sessions for those as well. We have Cassie on piano as well. I think more often I'm able to catch Cassie on piano. So I always will I don't know, it's the perfect time for like me to eat breakfast. So I'm always like I always have my breakfast when I'm listening to Cassie playing piano. So that's always really nice. Now I'm just sort of trying to fill in that middle bulb there. It's not quite as perfectly round as I had hoped for, but that's all right. I'm over it. Moving on to the next leaf, and now the next stem. I'm also just sort of adding some extra leaves in here too. I don't know if those leaves actually go well with this flower or belong with this flower, but I want them there. So I'm making it go there. And I think this is the last one before I get to add some color to it. I'm actually really excited to show you a little color wheel that I made because I love to layer highlighters together to create different effects. And I thought I should probably show you guys a little bit about what they look like on top. So just a little preview before I go and erase my lines. You can see this. See that? You can see all the layers crisscrossing each other. This little grid, please feel free to take a screenshot of it if that helps you as you're doing this project. It's there for you. All right, I think I'm ready to actually erase my lines. And I'm actually going to look for my big eraser. You can actually use any eraser that you have on hand. Sometimes I use the mechanical eraser. Sometimes I don't. I'm trying to dig on the bottom of my little cup here. Finally found it. I always have that little jar next to me just in case. I did purposefully show you this grid before I erased the Sharpie marker, and I did that because I wanted my ink to dry a little bit. Just remember that when you're doing this project, if you do this project, let your ink dry, but also use a ink that is permanent and won't bleed whenever you put the Sharpies on top. And this is why I love the big erasers. Suddenly, my lines look so nicer, so much nicer. Can't speak today. There. All right, you guys, what color should I do first? Let me know. Any color suggestions? I have a lot of colors here with me. Blue, I have pink, I have yellow, and I could technically just start with these colors. Honestly, these are going to be all of your primary colors. So these two colors are going to make orange. These two colors are going to make purple. These two are going to make green. So even if all you have are just a few colors, remember the layering here. So you can pretty much do anything you want. But I happen to buy a whole set that I'm really excited about. Oh, yay. All right, Kia, I will do pink first. That's awesome. Maybe I can do pink like up here in that background or in that back flower there. But yeah, I happen to buy like a huge set of highlighters because I love them so much. So let's see, perhaps pink up here. With highlighters, I like to go with the shape of something. So it's rounder up here. Go with those round shapes. It can curve down like that. Or you can even go messy and scribble if you wanted to scribble. Highlighters are fun for scribbling, like there. And you can choose to use the chiseled end or the pointy end, just depending on which way you turn the marker. You're probably going to hear me say brush instead of marker because I constantly do that. Brush strokes or not. Okay, so what else? Perhaps I can do yellow for these guys because I did say that these are dandelions. So maybe just add. While I'm waiting on other suggestions, I'm going to be doing those. So perhaps I can get my yellow. And for these dandelions, I'm not going to sit here and very meticulously put yellow in every single lumpy flower. So I can scribble. It's not going to bleed. It shouldn't bleed. I'm just going to be a little bit more careful around these edges. But at the same time, you don't even have to be careful. I could literally just make little swipes like this, and automatically it feels like the flower is moving a little bit. So we'll see how that turns out later, though. We'll see if I change my mind or not. And even if I scribble, it actually looks really nice when you do go over the lines a little bit, because then you get more color layers. Especially if you're pressed for time, you don't have to be meticulous about it at all. Okay, so I have pink, I have yellow. What's my next color, you guys? Should it be orange or purple? Should it be blue? Anybody? Okay, I'm gonna go with blue. All right, blue it is. Probably in a little bit, I will go back to this one and add some yellow to that one. And I feel like scribbling, so I'm just gonna scribble. There. I can add more of this. Dun, dun, dun. And I just want you guys to know that I always try and make my projects accessible to people. So again, if you have shaky hands like I do, if you keep up with anything at all that I do, you'll probably know that I have multiple sclerosis. So some days are good for the hands, some days are not, like today. And you just make it work. The only important thing is getting out there and doing it. It's the act of doing that helps us to sort of cope with what's going on and sort of, I guess, take a step back to evaluate what's going on even for a second. Sort of get our minds away from anything else that might be going on in our lives. The arts, doing art in general and doing watercolors actually has really helped me to refocus and recenter what's actually important to me. So this is why I keep doing this. It's also why I'm going to add green to my painting, because I love nature as well. Being out in nature has helped me a whole lot too. I guess also the act of rhythmic mark making, very therapeutic. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm just rambling, but I feel like scribbles are very rhythmic. Because you don't really have to, when you're scribbling, you don't really have to pay too much attention to it being perfect or it doing exactly what you want it to do. It's just about moving your hand and getting the color onto there, doing the important thing. There. And now I get to do the little pot down here. So I'm going to scooch that back just a little bit. Now, I'm in my head, it's a terracotta pot. So I'm going to use the chiseled end here. I'm going to sort of go with the shape at first on the edge here, up and down, like I said, at first. Go with the shape. I'm not even reaching end to end. I can always go back, taper it down a little bit or not. Basically, that's how I colored it in. So even though it has these little grid lines, remember what I said about it looking sketchy? That's what this entire thing is all about. So I'm thinking I want it to have a little bit of depth to it. So the opposite color on the color wheel to orange is going to be blue. So I'm going to start off with that one and then see where to go from there. The darkest portion is going to be underneath. And look at that. I'm going to have it taper, 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 taper. And then on this side, taper, 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 taper. And then I'm going to push it even more by using orange. Or not orange, purple, excuse me. It's actually really funny because every time I see I see purple and orange together, I always think of FedEx automatically. I have a family member that works at FedEx, so that's why. Taper down. I don't know, do you guys think it needs some more? I think it needs to look a little bit more dirty, perhaps. Just a little bit of green. Now I'm using the chiseled end to make it sort of move a little bit. I'm adding little, I don't know, quotation marks? You can call them quotation marks. Everywhere. So if you wanted to add them in pairs of 2, you could, like that, just to sort of make it look more alive. So, alive. I think maybe just a little bit more of this orange. You know, this is actually starting to look very fiesta-y. And that actually makes me really excited. And we are finished, you guys, with our lovely little flower piece. I want to thank all of you guys for showing up, for watching, and if you happen to be doing this little piece, thank you so much for doing this little piece. Please let me know what it looks like. I always love to see what this looks like for everybody and your process, so let me know. I want you guys to know that I had a little cheat sheet here. Ta-da! I did this in a notebook. This was my practice piece, and this is what I was looking at while I was doing this piece for you guys. I happen to like this piece a lot better, but if you happen to be at work, and you can totally do this at work, or, oh, yeah, I'm not trying to, like, give you some bad ideas, but this is on your break, okay? So thank you guys for joining me today. Once again, my name is Hannah, and I am from Hearts Need Art, and thank you. Have a wonderful day. Y'all take care. Bye.